I made a little slideshow. A lot of these photos, do I need to turn the recorder on?
Nope.
Okay. A lot of these photos are not mine. I took them from the professional photographer and some of I call them my teammates. Even though we were kind of competitors, it felt like they were my teammates. The first few, I just wanted you guys to get an idea of what we were working with out here. Super, super ugly. What is that? Well, you know, just nasty. Yeah, right? That's actually, I believe that's Mount Fitzroy in the distance there. That's kind of where we ended, or it's definitely where we ended. And this was along the way to get there. This is just a bunch of good-looking people on their horses. I thought that was a really good representation of what it looked like.
Is that all the people
No.
in the race?
Let's see. No, there were, so, actually maybe I should talk about what I did first. All right, so on this Easter egg hunt, it was 500 kilometers, which is 310 miles, and I put it on the map so I could have an idea. In my brain, it's from here to El Paso, basically.
Wow.
But most of us, I would wager to say all of us, did way more than that. Yeah, so we got 10 days, 10 whole days to do 500 kilometers. We had to change horses 7 times, which is part of the challenge, because we don't know these horses. These horses, they live like wild horses, just out on the pampas all year round. And they come in to work the cattle and the sheep, I think, but most of the time they're just out there doing their thing, not being worked at all. So they were spicy. They were very spicy. And it was scary. Yeah, 500 kilometers, 10 days, 7 different horses, and there were supposed to be 40 people. I think one guy got COVID unfortunately, right before the race, and he couldn't make it. So that was probably heartbreaking for him. Broke my heart a little bit too. So 39 people. I think it ended up 25 people finished in the competitor category, and then the rest in the, what we call it, the adventure category, which is they still rode the race, but maybe they didn't make time quick enough, and so we're shuffling down the course, so you have to, if people are too slow, you gotta move them forward. So that would be the adventure category, and then 3 people actually, one guy broke some ribs, another girl broke her leg, and another guy got pneumonia. So that was all bad, and they had to be medically retired. So hopefully, I hope I get to watch them next year do the race. I'll cheer for them. Anyway, nonetheless, big old horse race down in Patagonia.
What's it called?
It's called the Gaucho Derby, the Gaucho Derby. Let's see, here we go.
Turn down the stage lights.
Am I right? I don't know where Devo went.
Here I am!
Yeah, there he is.
There's a request for lights. Lights, down right.
All right, he'll fix it. Are you saying you can't see the photos very well?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, we'll turn them down. How's that? Oh, yeah. Oh, and the disco comes out. Okay, boom. Uh-oh. Okay. I put this one here just to give you an example of kind of some of the saddles. These are the Argentinian-made saddlebags. Not everyone used them. I didn't use them. They were a little bit on the heavy side because we did have weight limits. You could only take 22 pounds of gear on the back of your horse, and that was difficult. I couldn't take none of my wigs. I couldn't even take baby wipes. You know, you had to pare it down to the bare minimum.
What about water?
Water. So water didn't actually count. You could take 2.5 liters. We all wore camelbacks. So you take 2.5 liters on your back, and then you were smart if you refilled in the rivers wherever you crossed a river. And actually, I intended to filter my water, but as it turned out, I don't know where my Aquamira drops went. They went gone, and so I just 10 days worth of no water filter. And somehow something smiled on me because I got very, very lucky. Or the water's just that clean, I don't know.
Or the parasite hasn't developed yet.
Right. Exactly. But it has been 3 weeks, so hopefully.
It's dirtbag strength.
Dirtbag strength, there we go. Anyway, yeah, guys, if you want to yell out questions, I love it, so keep them coming.
You didn't tell us what inspired you to do this.
This is the one I dreaded. She's wanting to know what inspired me to do this. I think a lot of you may not know this, but when I was a kid, I was real horsey when I was a kid. And then I got a little older, and I kind of cycled through all the disciplines, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like riding in a circle. Some people do, and that's fair, but I discovered endurance riding, which is super cool. You don't have to bathe your horse. It doesn't have to look pretty. You don't have to wash yourself. You just get on and you go. And you get to ride in some of those beautiful places on sometimes it's like private ranches, sometimes it's parks, wherever. But I did that a lot in my 20s, and then when I moved here, I kind of stopped all that. And then I got to itching a little bit. These people, the equestrianists, they do one called the Mongol Derby every August, and they've done that for years and years and years. And I heard about it when I was in my 20s, and I said, ooh, before I'm 40, I got to do that. That sounds good. And then, come 37, 38, I started looking at it for real, and I was like, oh man, they're doing another one in Patagonia. Oh, I got to do that one. I wanted to do that one instead because the Mongol Derby is very Pony Express-like. It's kind of point and shoot, get on the horse, go as fast as you can to the next place, to the next place, to the next place, which is sort of like the Gaucho Derby, but the Gaucho Derby requires strategy. How am I going to get there? Which route do I take? I got to take gear with me. So basically, also I studied history in school. I love history. And I've always wanted to be able to live like Kit Carson or, any run-of-the-mill frontiersman or anything like that. So I was like, this is my chance. And man, did it blow my expectations out of the water. We were just out there, dirty little fools out there. Kind of lost, kind of not lost, but just wandering around. And I guess I wrote it down. Hold on, because I knew I'd get nervous. One moment. Yes, I wanted to taste the wild freedom I've only been able to read about in history books. That's why I did the Gaucho Derby. Anyway, thanks. Thanks for getting that out of the way early, Kate. Okay, this is Holly. Holly's English, she's real cute. So I put this picture in here. Let's see, I have a pointer. We got a little sheepskin. Thank the gods for that to ride on. And it's just a better picture of like how their saddlebags are hanging and whatnot. This is Josephine. She's Belgian. Another good picture of the saddle. She don't have her saddlebags on, but you can see a good picture of just, first of all, how big that horse is. Josephine's not short, and the nature of the saddle hanging in there. Oh, I put this one in here. So I was really nervous going into the Gaucho Derby because effectively I'm just a pleasure rider. Like these folks in here, some of them were famous for being horse whisperers and whatnot, and so, I knew that pretty much everybody was gonna be in the horse world in some form or fashion. And here I am, just you guys know me. What do I do all day? I don't even know. But anyway, normal in the normal horse world, you're riding kind of up and down. and they say draw a straight line from your shoulder to your hip to your foot, right? And that works if you're in an arena and you're on flat ground and you can predict where you're going, and you've got a horse that you can predict where he's going. But anyway, like the days of old, the gauchos ride with their legs more forward in a deeper seat here. So I put this picture of Kayla up because I just think it's crazy, and it's also, I found it way more comfortable and stable. Like if that horse gets to bucking, at least your body weight's back, so you're not gonna immediately flip over the front. You eventually might do it, but not immediately, you know. Also, I thought her horse was pretty. That's a good looking horse. Okay, so this is our, this was at start camp, and this was just kind of our meeting room where we got to eat and where they told us all the ways we could die out there. This is Andre, he's the head medic. Everybody's intently looking at him, probably because he's ugly. We ate good. Look at this. Yeah. I don't know where they got these cooks from, but I've never had food like this in my life. And normally I am a vegetarian, but I like to say I'll eat happy meat, you know, it's just been wandering around outside. No steroids, none of that. And this was very, very tasty happy meat. Okay, yes. I've been waiting to show you guys a few of these pictures because some of this landscape out there looked exactly like Terlingua. This is actually the Meseta del Muerto, the Mesa of Death. But would you just look at it? That's Cigar Mountain.
Probably was his name before someone changed it.
Exactly.
I can see a bubble.
Yeah. Oh, you dog. Okay, check this out.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you know?
Backyard.
Yeah.
Our backyard.
This is Indian Head. So I'll talk about it more later, and unfortunately I didn't get a video because I was too busy trying to survive. But there's something called rock bogs there, and I don't know for sure, I ain't no geologist, but there was bentonite there. So you would squish a little bit, you're walking across this stuff and you're squishing. But I don't know what was underneath it, but you'd be walking across and, you know, squishing a good bit, 4 inches or so, and then suddenly your horse was up to his chest. Have you guys seen The Never-Ending Story? A lot like that. Yeah, it was not a good time. And oddly enough, this was so counterintuitive. What we figured out was if you walked, there's a lot of springs, so if you walk up a creek, the wettest part, that's the most solid ground. It's the minute you get off the creek, suddenly, you know, you're like, Artax, Atreyu. Yeah, see?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this was actually, so my good buddy Mary is a dory guide on the Grand Canyon, and we became real quick friends, and we took a little kayak river trip, and these are photos from that. This little boy was walking us through the desert, and I was just like, oh my God, this is just like home. And it's like, boom, a dinosaur bone. And we were like, he said, touch it. And we were like, what? He's like, yeah, we told the scientists and they don't care because there's so many out here. And we were like, what? Nonetheless. Okay, this is where we slept, in this huge barn. 39 people in this huge barn. It was actually kind of nice. I liked it. One of my favorite moments was before the race started, we got 2 or 3 days to draw a practice horse and to put your practice kit on the practice horse and practice navigating to different spots around the ranch. And the first day, everyone was juiced when we got back. So I brought my speaker, my little speaker. I like to DJ. You didn't know that?
Oh, yeah.
And I put on "Should Have Been a Cowboy." Remember that song? That's the closest I've ever been to being a celebrity. Everyone's like, yeah. Anyway, that was our setup pre-race. She didn't have a name, and she was hot and cold. She played hot and cold on me. But you'd go sit down to eat, and something would be nibbling at your foot, and it would be her. She was so cute. Okay. Devo, this is when I need you.
All right.
I brought costumes because why would you not? And the Gauchos could party. The Gauchos could party. Every night they partied, and I tried to keep up a little bit just for the culture and the experience. And one night it was Ariel's birthday. This is Ariel in the frog hat, and so this is my moment. I went and I got my costumes and I brought them out one by one. Threw the frog hat out. Cool. Squid hat. Everyone liked it. The Gauchos were so pumped. Then I pulled out butterfly wings, 2 sets of butterfly wings. They put those on, and then the last thing I pulled out was my mermaid skirt, and that was maybe 1 or 2 of them put it on, but a couple of them were remiss to put the mermaid skirt on. It was a little too intimidating, mermaids, you know. Anyway, so thank God someone got photos of the Gauchos party with the hats on. Oh, they stole my hat, my Wayne's World hat.
Was this part of your 22 pounds?
No, but I did bring it with the intent of making it part of my 22 pounds. And it didn't happen. I also had a disco light that shoot, and actually every one of you should buy this off Amazon, $40. It shoots lasers all around. Gets the party going. Anyway, okay, this is day 1, race day. I had nightmares about this day for months before we actually got there because I knew there was going to be 40 horses. I knew they were going to be spicy. I knew there was going to be flags blowing, and I thought they were going to shoot a gun, which, thank God they didn't. But I was very, very nervous, to say the least. So I got my horse, and he was just a ball of nerves. You couldn't even touch him, and he would just jerk. And so right before I started this ritual, right before I got on any horse, and I just started saying, "I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much." And I swung my leg over, and he was fine. Thank the gods. But I was standing around. I tried to walk him around, let him, loosen his muscles a little bit. But we were getting crowded. People were getting on their horses. Some horses were taking off. And within the span of like 5 minutes, I saw 2 people get bucked off. And I saw another girl. I was dead on watching Lucy. Lucy, this really cool Australian chick, swung her leg over this horse. 3 Gauchos were trying to help her. What they do is they kind of box the horse in with their horses if the horses are real spicy. And she swung her leg over, and that horse reared up, and he nearly went over backwards on her. But instead, he kind of folded, and he still almost hurt her real bad. I still, to this day, don't know how she got out of that without a scratch. But then the wind blew. The wind's real bad down there. The wind blew, and it blew my helmet up, and I realized my helmet wasn't even buckled. I thought, oh no, you a danger girl. Anyway, okay, so we finally, somehow, we started like 4 hours late. We all got on the horses. We made it to the start line. Flags were flapping. The horses were not happy. Thank God they didn't shoot a gun. And Eric, the ride manager, said, "All right, let's go." And I don't know how to describe to you how uneven the ground is down there. I've tried to capture a couple photos of it. but it's not normal. And those horses can just run across it, no problem. But for you, never seen that kind of thing before, or being on a horse like that, it's terrifying. And I was hoping I was going to start in like the middle of the back of the pack and just cruise, and that's not the horse I had. The horse I had was going to win. And somehow we went from the middle of the back to the very, very front, and I don't even know what happened. I blacked out. You have to hobble these horses to saddle them, which what that means is like you tie their front feet together, because they don't like being saddled. So after you take the hobbles off, what I did, and what I think a lot of us did, was I took them hobbles and tied them to the front of the saddle, more or less, oh shit strap, and I just held on to that thing. And here, so we come, and actually, I forgot to say, it's down a hill. We went, here we go, here's more start line. Everyone's actually on their horse, that's good. There I am, just totally kitted out. If you can't tell, I'm very nervous. I'm sitting way back just in case that horse wants to go. Okay.
Is that thing that's on, is that a thermos or is that your walkie-talkie there?
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
That's my GPS.
GPS, okay.
Yeah. So I made a little duct tape cut for it so I could just pull it out, look at it, and put it back. Here's a good example of the ground. So when we started, the start line was up top, and we had to shoot down this hill over this kind of stuff. And that's what I'm going to tell you, I blacked out. Yeah, I totally blacked out. I was convinced that was the end of me. But anyway, we made it, because I'm here today.
My little horse and those horses.
Yeah.
Did you come back to the camp every night the same?
No, so we had, what we did was we logged in GPS points. We had a GPS and paper maps, and we had different, what they were called vet checks. So we had to go, you had to get to this vet check, and the vet had to check your horse and say, okay, your horse, check the heart rate, check the skin elasticity for dehydration, just check to see if they were lame or not, Basically, it's called fit to continue. Like, can your horse keep going responsibly? Is he healthy? That sort of thing. So you get to the vet check 1. We did like 2 to 4 vet checks a day. So you get to 1, he says, okay, now go to 2. Okay, cool. And we have to navigate ourselves to those places, which was the hardest part. Besides the ground being lava.
Hey, farmer.
Yes.
That center horse, is that someone off it?
Let's go back.
Oh, they're walking.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually me. This isn't actually the start line. This is like a couple hours later, but this was the best representation of it I could get. I also have a huge fear of heights, but at the time I was just tired of bumping around. This horse, I named him Go, because that's all he wanted to do. This one right here. And I was tired of bumping around on his back because he kind of had like a really bumpy trot. So I got up and I walked a bit. Here's a little video. You can hear the wind. The wind was monstrous. Anyway, yeah, watch this one. You were getting blown off the side of your horse. Look at those ears. Isn't that stupid? I mean, actually, so I think the thing that prepared me the most for doing this was living here. Yeah.
Okay.
There were definitely people in the race who, and I don't know if they'd never slept in a tent, but it kind of seemed like it.
Or on the ground.
Yeah, or just whatever. And living here, you guys know, I don't know how to describe it. You're dirty, you're hot, there's the wind's blowing. You know, and working on the river too. I mean, I was kind of shocked how this was not easy. This was not an easy race, but I was more prepared than I thought I would be. And a lot of that is like from doing things like rowing customers out Santa Elena when the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour in the wrong direction and you're just rowing for hours. Yeah, you know, just taking care of people out there. And so it was very, very difficult, but also I was more prepared for it than I could have ever imagined, just because of living in a town like this.
Or those facing horse people.
Yeah, kind of. This was actually the first vet check, just to give you an idea of what they were like. So we were all there at the same time. You know, we definitely spread out later, but first vet check, second vet check. This one had grass actually, and that was cool. Okay, this is me getting blowed into oblivion. And if you'll notice, I got a nice gaper gap. I was trying not to have a gaper gap, but the wind would just blow. Like, you could not get your helmet tight enough that the wind wouldn't try to blow it off. You know, hideous views. It was so hard. So much fresh water everywhere. That was one of the differences between here and there. This is my little gang coming into Vet Check 3. Mary and I in the back here. Mary and I teamed up for the first few legs, and then we kept running into these folks, and so that leg we ran alongside them. That's the same Vet Check. Just a few views. It wasn't the Hilton, but I liked that. This is Go. This is my horse Go. Look at that evil look in his eye. You had to actually, so you had to graze your horse for an hour after you were done, and make sure you were watering him too. So you had to camp near water and near grass. And that was a challenge because, you know, you have time limits and you're trying to get places and you're like, oh, is there going to be grass and water 30 minutes from now or not, you know? So you had to graze them for an hour and get them water before bed, and then you had to get up in the morning, graze them for an hour, and get them water before you took off. And here's an arresting vista.
So were most of the riders, say end of the first day, were most of the riders stopping the same place, or you guys scattered out?
The end of that first day was Vet Check 3, which I just showed you, and we had, I want to say there was like 12 to 15 people there. Everyone else was back at Vet Check 2.
Okay.
So we had 12 to 15 out in the front, I guess, somewhere.
How many miles was that?
For the first day?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even remember. But normally every day it would be like anywhere between 30 to 50.
Whoa.
Yeah, except for this one day I'll tell you about in a minute.
Did you grain your horses or just the grass?
Just the grass. Yeah. You know, they live half wild, and they're unlike the horses we have. I mean, not every horse. I don't know. I can't speak for every horse, but I was floored at what these horses could do. Just how tough they were, and the amount of punishment they could take was nothing like anything I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. I mean, look at that. That's a big butt. He could climb mountains, right? Yeah, just so beautiful. Okay, this is peepers. They were peeping in on the girls' dormitory. It was me and Morgan sleeping in that a sheep shed with a bunch of dead animals. There was so many dead animals. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am crazy for the bones. So it was very exciting, just everywhere. Most of it was Wanako. So they have these llama-like creatures down there called Wanako. And I try to get a video of the sound they make because it's just like they're just laughing at you the whole time. It was bad. But so Wanako Bones, there were a lot of armadillo, which, yeah, that was really cool. It was very hard not to stop and pick up a bunch of skulls on the way.
22 pounds.
Right. A lot of these really shallow lakes that were brown, but nonetheless, it's water. There we are, we're leaving Vet Check 3, that was the next day, day 2. And we're riding along, this was the main...
Courtney, what do you think about this?
I think, I'm pretty sure I said bumpy. No, I don't remember. That was a typical scene from the Gaucho Derby, minus the road, because we didn't have a lot of roads. This is Mary again. And this is my second horse. I named him Juan Grande. He was a big old boy, and it was very hard to get on top of him. But he turned out to be real gentle, and I appreciated him that for it. Albeit slow. He was very, very slow and hungry. Mary and I actually, from Vet Check 2, everyone else went this one direction, and there was a valley, and everyone else kind of went on top of the mountain, and Mary and I were like, why don't we follow this valley because water flows downhill? And it turned out to be a very good decision. We got to that Vet Check lightning fast. Yeah, just beautiful. Also, sorry if you get motion sick because I couldn't steady my camera on any of these.
So is the ground very rocky or mostly sandy?
It's tufty is the best way to describe it. Like if you've been to that kind of beach where it's all tufty. Yeah.
These being wild horses, were they shoed?
They were all shot, and I don't know how they did it. I do not know how they did it. I'm gonna call in headquarters about that because I forgot. I was thinking that.
Is it grasses and then sagebrush or weird broccoli plants or what do you?
Yeah, so it's hard to explain because we'd come over one mountain and it would be the driest place on earth, and then we'd go over another one and it was the wettest, and your horse would be sinking in a bog, like a normal bog. But yeah, like this stuff, this was just dry tuft and sand, and you're trying to you're doing your best to cook it in the direction you need to go, but it was hard. I don't know, and the horses can do it. They can do it, and they can make it seem effortless. But it's confusing. Yeah, so here we are. We're taking the high road because we're afraid of that green stuff down there. We're thinking it's probably bog. Yeah, lots of river crossings. We caught up with our team again because they went up that mountain and we caught them. We took a shortcut and caught them. This is Juan Grande again, looking kind of short. Okay, this is crazy. It was very strange to be camping next to a river without any boats. I remember walking around like, I don't have to tie anything up. So I used my bowline knots to tie my horse up to rocks because there was nothing else to tie him to. You can see the rocks. See the rocks right here. And some of these horses, see how he's hobbled? He's hobbled and he's tied, and they could still move away in the night. We had to, we clipped the little lights to their halters so that you could peek out. You couldn't get a good night's sleep because you had to check every couple hours, is my horse still there? Because if they're gone in the morning, you got to go get them wherever the hell they went. So, and some of these animals could run at a full gallop with their legs hobbled together like that. So that was annoying. But that's how agile they are. Anyway, this night we tied on rock piles and it didn't really work. It did, but it didn't.
Did anyone have a runner in the middle, like a midnight runner?
Oh, hell yeah. That night, Will's horse, we thought Juan Grande was going to be the runner because he's a big, strong boy, but it was actually Will's horse who just took off. And I don't think I was awake for that one because enough people were awake to go get him. I'm not sure how far he went, but he was gone. This is us just confused over the map. That was pretty typical. Actually, the next day, the route we took was pretty good. This was day 3. I don't know if you guys were watching this day, but you might have seen me. We were in the front of the pack. We were in the front, and we got to a point, and then you might have seen me turn around and go back.
Yep.
And let's see what I put here. So we went up on this ridge, and we were cooking it good. We were making good time. There's me and Juan Grande in the beautiful river. Cooking it good. And then Mary actually, she had kind of had a spicy horse. Getting on him, I thought he was going to explode because he dropped his back and he had the look in his eye, and I was like, oh dear God, Mary. I don't know how old Mary is, but I was just nervous for her, and I was like, okay, let's stop, take a breath. So she's straddling this horse, and this horse looks like he's about to explode into 1,000 pieces. And then he just starts like trying to sit down on his butt, which was weird. I've never seen that before. But she took a few deep breaths and away we went. But nonetheless, her girth, the thing that holds the saddle onto the horse, was loose that day, and so she started to slip off. And by the time she realized it, it was too late. So luckily, I think she kind of half fell, half stepped off. But then the horse went ape. And he actually bucked off. So we're up on a ridge, right? And you can kind of see the river's down here. He went off the cliff, bucking. And I think all of us in our heads were like, that horse is gone. And then we walked over there, and he was just standing in the river with no saddle on. This is how athletic those horses were. He bucked himself off a cliff, totally fine, but the girth was gone. We couldn't find the girth. Half of her saddlebags exploded, and she lost half of her gear. The boys helped us rig a new girth with the lead line we used to tie the horses up, but it was nylon. It's very slick, so Mary couldn't ride because the saddle was still sliding. So we sent the boys on, and I said, Mary and I decided we actually tried to keep moving forward, but it was 15 miles to the next vet check. And I was like, Mary, it's like 4 to the other vet. I know it feels bad to go backwards, but it's only like 4 miles. Like, this horse needs help, you need help, let's go backwards. So we went back I helped her get back to the other vet check, and I walked behind her because every now and again the saddle would slip off. And we had to like retie her bags down because they were, half of it was gone and it was weighted funny. And anyway, we got her back there, and then I turned around and kept going. And somehow I got to the next vet check only 8 minutes late, and I'm not sure, and to this day, I'm not sure how I did that because Juan Grande, my horse, was so slow. Anyway, this is before the scene of the crime. And there's the horse down in the river after he bucked himself off. So, fences. I worried a lot about the mapping because I'm not a super good mapper. Timmy Gibbs helped me with the mapping a lot, but I still wasn't super confident with it. But now that I've done it, I realize, you can be the best mapper there is. It doesn't matter, because there's fences everywhere. And you'll spend most of your time going this way looking for a gate, going this way looking for a gate, maybe back that way because you didn't go far enough. And you can't cut the fence, you can't jump over it, you gotta find a gate. That's the law of the land. They partner with a bunch of ranch owners, estancia owners, and their livelihood is the livestock, so you can't mess with what they got going on out there.
So this is all private land you're rolling through?
Yeah, it's all private. I don't even know how they put it all together. I can't even imagine. Okay. Here we go. This is me, hapless, unknowing, just happy. At this point I was riding with a gal named Fiona because Mary was, God knows how far behind me. But Fiona and I took off that morning, and I remember saying, Fiona, it's going to be a good day. That should have been my first clue. So they sent us up over this mountain, and I named it the Short Forest, but other people started calling it Satan's Arboretum because we had to go over this big drainage and down, and it wasn't very far to the next vet check. I can't remember exactly how far, but somewhere between 5 and 10 miles maybe, not far at all. But this forest was so short and brutal. We were just dragging, you're off your horse, there's no way you could ride it, and you're just like busting through it, trying to figure out where to go. At times, we thought we found some well-beaten paths, so we said, okay, let's go, this way, and then it would just disappear into a bog. And I actually named this horse Froggy because at one point he did get stuck in a bog. His front feet went all the way down to his neck, and he brought his back feet up and planted them and then jumped out like a frog. Thank God, because I didn't know how we were going to get him out otherwise. So that's Froggy. He was a good horse. This is the beginning of the Short Forest. We haven't even got there yet. Those are tall trees. That's Fiona in the front. So bad. Here, we'll pause that. Those are wild horses. There's a lot of wild horses out there. It was beautiful. Anyway, so I think we did 4 miles in 10 hours. It was brutal, and at the end of it, I was just like, oh no. They're going to carry me forward. And what that means is like, I didn't make it to this certain vet check in time, so I'm going to have to skip a bunch of the riding because I was too late. So for me, that was kind of the biggest mental challenge was I didn't go there to win, I went there to finish. I wanted to do every mile, and I wanted to finish, and I was just heartbroken. And also, I was just like, am I really that dumb? Like, why couldn't I find my way through this forest? Holy moly, it was so bad, guys. I don't even know how to describe it to you, but just the sheer downtroddenness. But anyway, got up the next day. Well, there was a highlight. Do you know the Caracara eagles? Those New Mexican eagles, or I don't know. I guess they're not necessarily Mexican, but I love those things, and you don't get to see them very often. And I have never seen a flock of eagles. And we went through this portion of the Short Forest, and they were everywhere. There was like 100 of them. So that was pretty in the misery. But anyway, the next day we got up and we got to the next vet check, and we still weren't sure if we were going to get carried forward. But then when we got to the next vet check, we realized, okay, cool, we're good. We can still keep going. I think the course was running way slower than they thought it was going to run. They thought we were going to all be faster. They did say it was the slowest Gaucho Derby they've ever run. But they've only run 3 of them, so okay. And the first one was kind of a disaster. The Pioneer one, a bunch of people got airlifted for hypothermia, and I don't even think they really anybody finished. Anyway, nonetheless, it was crazy.
Do you win a gaucho at the end?
No. I think you could. I mean, some of them were looking, but. Okay. Well, there's Froggy again. I'd love him so much. This was a good example of what we did every night. You just tent camped. I wish I would have got video because there is a really sick river down here with a cool wall shot, and it was loud. but there's time and a place, and I had to focus. Anyway, this was camp. This was the camp right before the Meseta del Muerto, and that day was Rock Bog City. So here we go, same camp. This horse I had, I named him Steady Eddie because I read somewhere you want to name a horse for what you want him to be, not what he is. And he scared the hell out of me when I went to go get him. I think Fiona and I did a really good job. You draw your number, and the Gauchos got to where you draw a number to go get your horse. To make it fair, all of us would draw a number out of a hat, and the Gauchos would get to where they'd be like, ooh. You're like, oh no. Anyway, Fiona and I, it was just the two of us because everyone else were either behind or in front of us, and we went to go get these horses. I think we did a good job. We did it in like 10 minutes, which I think was pretty good. But he was crazy. And easily the most athletic horse I've ever ridden in my life or ever seen in my life. He could full gallop with those hobbles on, no problem. And he was rearing on me with them and trying to tell me something. I don't know what he was trying to tell me, but I got him saddled, and I said my prayers. And I said, I love you so much. I love you so much. And I got armed. It was fine. But it was still kind of like riding a rocket. Like he wanted to go, and he was trying to go, and I was trying to spread the line between letting him go enough to where he wouldn't throw me off, but not go so fast that we were in danger. And he actually wound up turning into Steady Eddie, if you can believe it. And he took me over the Meseta del Muerto, no problem. There we go. Yeah, we don't even know what we're in for yet. It's starting to get dry. There's a little video. There were patches of greenery, and they make it look safe, but all of that is Sink City. Mm-hmm.
On the white spot, snow?
Say that again?
Is that snow?
Yeah, snow. Here we are walking over it. Also, what I didn't tell you about this section is it's so dangerous, they actually gave us a path to follow on our GPS. They called it a breadcrumb. And then you'd think that means it made it easier, but it didn't. Here we are, just stuck up there, sad. What? That's like out of a movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not my photo, I'm not that good.
Where's the camel when
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Do.
Do you
Yeah.
know what elevation you're at here?
I don't, but I don't think it's super high. I mean, it felt high because we had to walk up every step of the way. But I don't know, that's a great question. Here we are on the backside, starting to get down a little bit of greenery. And then we finally made it to the next vet check. And there were some cute dogs there. Cute dogs. Cute dog alert. And murder.
Did they feed you at the vet checks?
They fed us at some of them. I would say like every third or fourth vet check they fed us. But mostly we had to take our own meals. A lot of backpacking meals. And weirdly enough, I heard other people say this too, I just wasn't hungry the whole time. I think you're just so much adrenaline all day long, you're just like, can I just go to sleep, please? I don't want to cook. Oh, okay. Just like I was saying, you come over one mountain ridge and it's dry as a bone, and then you come over another one and there's an ice blue lake, and the wind is colder. That was a relief. That was good. There's Steady Eddie in front of that lake. This is when I had to say goodbye to him. I was real sad.
Is the rotation of horses at vet checks and all that are overnights, is it, so you couldn't keep Froggy? Froggy gets retired then after?
Yeah, I couldn't keep Froggy. It's too much distance for a horse. We rode him about as far as we could, and then, you know, humanely let them go back to doing whatever they do.
Nice.
Yeah. And I thought this was a good picture. This is Morgan. She actually wound up breaking her leg later, but it's a good photo of her. She's got her saddlebags on good. These are the kind of saddlebags I had, Trail Max. And that lake, the water, I don't, you know, come on. That's not real. I don't know what that is. Yeah, pulling horses out of a pen, you gotta saddle them up. Oh, this is Wapo. This is my horse Wapo. And I didn't take enough photos. This is the only photo I have of Wapo. I only had him for a day, which is weird. And of course, he was my best horse. He was the smoothest and calmest. Very hungry. I got a lot of hungry boys. Wapo was a good one though. I named them actually. We all named our own horses because they had no names. Fences. Oh, the gauchos.
That's a great photo.
The gauchos, yeah, this is also isn't my photo, but it's a good one. The gauchos love to watch the chaos, and they would often have their phones out. When I switched horses for Wapo, another girl was saddling her horse, and he got loose and went to bucking, like jubilant bucking, crazy bucking, and when the gauchos, instead of going to get him, they were just like, oh, this was Lago Tar, and here. This was my horse. This was the horse after Wapo, the slowest and the hungriest of them all. And I named him Moonpie. If you guys know my dog Moonpie. If you know my dog Moonpie, he's also the slowest and the hungriest of them all. The people I was with at this point, Lisa and Katie. Lisa had a good one. He was a little bit slow, but not as slow as Moonpie. And then Katie had an Arabian who was tireless. Just go for days. It was like watching a horse walk on water or watching that thing run. So Katie probably could have finished that day if she didn't have me and Lisa with her. Even though it was still like 100 miles to go. Oh, this is a pretty morning video of the lake. And the wind. Oh, it doesn't really, you can't really see the color. Damn, the color doesn't show up very good. What else we got? Here we go. I had to get a video of Moonpie eating. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, that was one of my favorite mornings. Even though that day we kind of went the wrong direction and we went through the desert on horses with no names for a long time, and it was a beat down. I think the MVP of my gear that I took were called salt pills. A friend of mine who does triathlons was like, "Well, you got to take salt pills." And I guess it's a pill of salt, and you just take one every hour. And what I did notice was I was always in a good mood, which isn't normal for me. And I was always in a better mood than everybody else, which definitely isn't normal to me. And so I was like, oh wow, these are magical pills. These are some salt pills.
It wasn't salt.
Maybe it wasn't salt. I don't know. This is okay. So here I am. I tied my saddlebags down. I kept saying rig to flip and no one laughed. But I tied mine down so that they wouldn't flap on the horse's flanks. I do think some people got in trouble because their saddlebags were flapping on the horse, and those horses aren't used to the saddlebags. So imagine like them just getting hit in the gut. So I tied mine down. Maybe that helped me. I don't know, but I didn't come off. There we go. There's a better photo. Poor moon pie, where he's sweaty and dirty. Oh, this is Alfie. Alfie was one of the vets. He said, "It's my last day. You want a picture?" This is another shaky video of just how it went. A lot of the video I took was on the road because otherwise, a lot of times I was holding onto the oh shit strap, just trying to survive. So don't let this fool you. Those are the Wanakos up here. They were always staring, always laughing.
What is a Wanako?
A Wanako is looks like a llama, just like a llama. Here's one of the puestos. We were just hanging out, eating food. This guy was MVP. This is Federico, and he brought us wine when we needed it the most. Just this whole thing. Fences. I know. Look at that.
What?
Yeah, fences. All of us had so much fence PTSD that when we were leaving, we were on a bus, we were leaving, we saw a fence, all of us at the same time saw this fence and saw an open gate. And we, at the same time, everyone was like, open gate. Okay, here's a good example of how to open and close the gates. This is Nathaniel. He's a Frenchman. And him and his partner Olivier came in second place. But I don't know what place they came in, opening and closing gates. But there were those tension type gates, And all of them were rigged slightly differently. So you're just like, oh my God.
It's all part of the torture.
It's all part of the torture. They did us so dirty. They did us so dirty. Okay, poor baby. I won't embarrass him. Here's do I have to get off this time and open the gate? After a while, it's very hard to get on and off your horse, especially if you got a tall one. This is actually Biscuit. This was my last horse. And I drew the number out of a hat. I think it was 385. And I was like, I've made it this far. I've gotten so lucky. This one's going to be shit. And I'm in this pen, and the horses are so fired up, and they're just running. And I'm looking. I'm trying to find 385. I'm trying to find him, and he's like there, just. And I'm getting a little closer. I got my little lead rope. Get a little closer, and I'm like, what? Hey, what's up, dude? I was like, are you really gonna? I got him. Okay, 30 seconds. Cool. Whoa. And one of the vets told me that he's just one of those animals that's like, where are we going? Let's go. So I had.
No biscuit.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you this. There was some sort of luck in my pocket, but I don't know how it got there. But I got very lucky with my horses.
So the number you drew was actually the horse, not like one. I get the first pick.
No, it was the horse. To make it fair, because if they did it any other way, like the front riders could pick the best horses.
Yeah.
So I liked it that way, but it was terrifying also. Well, here we are. Here's Biscuit. So I'm still with Lisa and Katie. Oh, this was day 9. This was the second to last day. All of us got up on day 9. We were so close to the finish. I think it was like 30 miles. We were like, oh, no problem. We're going to finish on day 9. And man, were we wrong. And they did us so dirty that day. We thought the Meseta of Death was hard. We thought the Short Forest was hard. This was the hardest day. We were on the side of a mountain, just up and down these huge ravines. And you'd look at your GPS, and you're like, okay, 12 miles to go. And then 2 hours later, you would look at your GPS, okay, 11.9 miles to go. And you were just like, ah. Anyway, and it was hot to mention. Actually, they tried to tell us, oh, be prepared for cold. It's going to be so cold. And so everything I brought was cold weather gear, and it was hot. It was so hot. And actually, that's another reason why this place prepared me for there. Because I was scooping water with my helmet. I was throwing it on me. I was throwing it on my horses. I don't know why anyone else wasn't doing that. But again, I was in a better mood than most people too. Salt fills and water, you know. Yeah, so Lisa's horse, this one, he was the next number up from mine, and I originally thought he was my horse, so I went to go get him. You know, I just instantly liked him because he was cute. But he turned out to be a little bit, he did not like to be touched whatsoever. But I actually watched Lisa get on some of the spiciest horses, and they would start to act up, and something about Lisa, they would calm down, and she wouldn't get thrown off, and I never saw what kind of magic she was doing. Yeah, I don't know, some sort of magic, but that horse, I think that horse would have thrown me off or anyone else off, but it didn't throw Lisa off, thank goodness. Here we are. We don't even know what we're getting into yet, but we're getting there. We're just like, we're gonna finish on day 9. Yep, same. Everybody's trying to get their videos. It was so pretty. Oh Lord. Biscuit, the legend. Okay, after we did all the ravines, up and down, up and down, up and down, I don't know how long it took us, but most of the day, we finally came over this valley, and beautiful green valley. We're like, okay, we're so close, we're like a mile, cool. And guess what? Fences. We're like, no, where do we go, could not find a gate. Time's running out, so every day we had from 7 to 7. And if you went longer, you got penalized, time penalty, that you had to sit out the next morning. So we were like,
What was the penalty?
say that?
What was the penalty?
I think for every minute, it was 2 minutes until you got to half an hour, and then it was 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were like, no, like, we're a mile away, it's almost 7 o'clock, no. And we're looking around. One thing you had to do out there, which I wasn't very good at, was putting 2 and 2 together. And Katie was very good at it, and she was like, wait a second, I see some like goalpost looking things up this road here, and to me that kind of looks like a big ranch gate. Maybe we should go up there and go through there. So we go up there, and the closer we get, we realize, oh, there's like 20 dogs up there, and also it's not a gate, it's where they hang cows to slaughter them. And so we like, right as we're about to turn around, this guy comes out in the cutest, he must have dressed up for this event, and I don't know if they paid him, if they should have. He comes out and he's like, where are you going? We're like, oh man, we're trying to get over there. And he only spoke Spanish, but he told us, yeah, come through my place, go up here, and then go down there. And we made it on the dot at 7 p.m. Also, this particular vet check was largely invisible. It was just this guy Faco sitting under a tree. There he is. Yeah, he's just one of the vets. He's just sitting on the tree. Normally, there's like something. There's a building or something for the vet check, and we're like, surely, we're in the right place. And then we see Faco, and we're like, oh my God, yes, we did it. Faco's like, where have you been? And this is Lisa, and that's Katie, and there's me.
So that was the end of the 9th day, and you camped there?
And we camped there. Lisa and Katie were thinking about going further, and I was like, guys, we'll get penalized. Also, why? Like, let's stay. And I think in the end they were like, yeah, why not stay? because we were, at this point, this was vet check 19, and we were like 3 miles from the finish line. And actually, the only time I cried was the next morning, and I realized we had to quit, and I would just, I let go. It was bad. Luckily, only my horse knew. This is Paco's mare. I just thought her halter was so cute. She was cool. My horse didn't know how to be tied, and he burned himself pretty good that night. I felt kind of bad for him. There he is. Oh, okay. Here's the mini bar. Yeah. Paco's like, you ladies have had a hard day. Come to me.
You tell fortunes as well?
Oh, not that I know of. Okay, here we are. We're getting very close to the end, and it's like so beautiful. I had a huge smile on my face. It was just like being John Wayne, and that's what I always wanted. Nothing more, nothing less. Just let me be John Wayne for a day. Yeah, and the beauty just got more ridiculous. There's a rainbow. It's hard to see, but it's there. If you ever have a chance to go to this place, it's right outside El Chaltan, and I think it's called Bonanza. Yeah, there's the rainbow. There's me with the rainbow, and Biscuit, and me and Biscuit with the rainbow. I was like, take another one, take another one. And here we are at the finish line. Yeah. We did it. I put this one in here because this is Manu and Sarah. I loved everybody, but I really love these guys, and I thought they got a really good picture of the whole thing. They were brother and sister from Switzerland. And then here we go. So this is me, and there's Mary, and Lisa, and Katie, and this is one of the medics. That's Clara. And we were homies, all of us. Oh, and this was the feast they prepared for us. I can't even explain what was going on here. Also, check out this disco. Have you ever seen a disco this big? And they're just roasting pumpkins, no big deal. I didn't understand. Mount Fitzroy. This is Mount Fitzroy again.
What's the range called?
I don't know, actually. I'd have to look that up.
Did you ride any snow?
No, actually, we didn't. It was so hot. I don't know what was going on. Horses. Here, I made a little video of the horses. Just quiet in their pens.
They want to keep going.
They want to keep going. There's Biscuit's ass. So they told me that the way that the wind blows through Mount Fitzroy, it creates the clouds like this. Because it's well, there's where we stayed in those weird thingies.
No.
Oh god. Okay.
The summit in summer.
This was party night. It was a big party. Lots of dancing. That's actually Alfie again. He lied. And here's most of us. I think we're missing Hugh. He broke the ribs, and we're missing Braden, who had pneumonia.
It really is Estancia Bonanza.
Yeah, there we go. So, it was kind of like, it wasn't like I said, they felt like my teammates, even though we were kind of competitive, but it was almost like America versus Australia, because we had a bunch of Australians, 2, 3, 4, where's Lucy? There were like 6 Australians and like 10 Americans. I just thought that was funny. Oh, yeah, that's the end. Yay! Okay, does anyone have any more questions?
You already kind of answered the question, but in your life of joy and adventure, where does this now sit, even though it's so recent for you? It's got to be one lovely smear of adventure.
Yeah, so, yeah, I really likened it to a breakup. It was, I think we're all going through it. I would love it if more people were here to tell me, but it's like a good relationship, and you know you can't stay, so it's like even more painful to leave it. Like, I loved everybody. Everyone was so much fun, and it was very hard to walk away from. And I'm really, really hoping that one day we'll get back together and do something stupid again. Yeah, something even stupider.
So the horses were wild. Once the race is completed, are they returned back into the wild?
They're not totally wild, but they live like wild horses.
Okay.
So they've been saddled. That none of them have really ever had saddlebags on them, which is a huge deal. But they're just let back out. They live on the range. They don't live in stalls like we keep them in stalls or small paddocks and stuff. But they still have all their instincts, their wild instincts and stuff. So they're just like, it's more to deal with than your average horse. Yeah.
But they knew how
I'm
to.
interested in the beginning of when you heard about it and when you decided you were going to do it.
Yeah, so we kind of got into this. I heard about the Mongol Derby way back in the day. I think they've been doing that for almost 20 years or something. And I was like, I really want to do that before I turned 40. And then when I was like 37, 8, I was like, okay, I told myself, and I started looking at it, and I realized they started doing this one. And this one just appealed to me more because of the strategy and the survival and the mapping and all that. And just the area. I've been to Mongolia, I loved it, but I have never been to Argentina. And then I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is going to take. To this day, I can't tell you how anything. I just stumbled my way into
Did you
it.
ride horses when you were a kid?
I did, yeah. I had horses from 10 years old to, I think my old horse died when I was 30 or something. And I was really big into endurance riding in my 20s. When in my old life, when I lived in the city, I would do a lot of endurance riding. And I had to kind of give it up when I moved out here.
Was this self-funded or how
Yeah, so you could go the sponsor route, but I'm not good at that. I'm not good at any of that stuff. And I also didn't want to have to deal with it while I was there and because I think you have to do certain photos and say stuff, and I'm not a real good social media presence anyway. So I just worked my ass off to pay for it.
is it? How much is it?
The entry fee is $16,000. Yeah, it was not cheap. But
Yeah, but they provided the horses.
They cover.
yeah.
And you can't, there's no way you could do this in any other.
There is no way. So I was like, oh God, that's expensive. But now after doing it, I was like, I don't know how they run it on that budget. I don't have any idea how they run it on that budget.
I was
Yes,
wondering,
ma'am.
because you mentioned some people had to get carried forward, right?
Yeah.
So there were certain ways that they kind of had to be helped or moved forward. And I was kind of wondering, you mentioned these folks got second place or whatever. How did that work out in the end and kind of determining who, what the rankings were? Did it work
Yeah.
that way?
Okay,
What was that like?
to this day, I have no clue. So kind of, because it's so expensive and everyone worked so hard to get there, and also everyone was just so great, I think they were hesitant to disqualify anyone or whatever, and some of the rules just kind of went out the window. And I don't know that, people, definitely I cared, but I also didn't care, and I think other people also didn't care. And we have the placings now. We didn't have them for a while, but we have them now, and I couldn't tell you why me and Lisa and Katie effectively came in 6th place.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why or how. If you do it by groups, we came in 6th place. If you do it individually, we came in 12th. I don't know how it works either.
But you weren't carried forward at any point.
No, I luckily did not carry forward. Who won was Daniel and Rendell and Holly. They were a team, and they actually crossed the finish line second, but they had a 2-hour credit. I'm not sure why, so they ended up winning.
Did you have to clear all your own food for the whole 2 days?
Most of it. Sometimes they fed us. But it was weird. We just weren't hungry. Like, I wasn't eating my meals, so towards the end, I was like, I had to just like get rid of meals. We did have resupply bags at different points. We had 4 resupply bags. And I would just throw food into it. I was supposed to be taking food out of it, but I would just throw it back in there. I don't want this.
Did the winners get a prize?
Yeah, the winners got you know how they drink matcha? The matcha tea? The winners got matcha, like, yeah, maca, hand-carved maca cups. And then second place got gaucho bridles, which I never go.
Do you still like salt?
Salt? Yeah. I'm a believer, man.
What were your saddles like? Was there a saddle for each horse, or did you have a saddle you used on all the horses?
That's a great question. So we actually checked out gear at the very beginning, and we had the same saddle, same bridle, same everything the whole time.
Were they comfortable?
They were comfortable, and they had sheepskin on them, but not enough sheepskin. Like, I wore bicycle shorts, so I had extra padding, and I think that was one of the main reasons I wasn't walking around bow-legged like some people. Yeah, it was good. Good crying.
Did you witness any like mental breakdowns from folks?
Not really. I heard of them, and I saw the beginnings of a few, but not really. I think I was in a bubble of just bliss. Yeah, it was so fun.
Did you ever reach a point where you sort of hit the wall?
No, which was crazy, and I want to thank Terlingua for that, because and guiding, because just being out in the elements all the time and having to be comfortable with whatever life throws at you, and having paying customers who depend on you for their survival, you just kind of get used to stuff. I never really did hit a wall. The closest I got was the Satan's Arboretum, when I was just kind of like, am I mentally slow? Why am I still in this forest? Yeah, but I was on cloud 9 most of the time. Salt pills. I didn't work for them. Some of my other favorite gear pieces were, if you guys don't have fingerless wool gloves, oh man, they'll change your life. And what's it called? What's the salve called at Desert Sports?
Super salve.
Super salve. Super salve. Yeah.
There's your sponsor.
There's your sponsor. Yes, for all your Viking and boating needs, go to Desert Sports. Okay, what else, team? Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, you had to have the money. I think that was the main thing, but they called me and they asked me a bunch of questions that I can't remember now, and then I had to send them videos of myself riding. And I got lucky because at the time I was taking some dressage lessons, and the horse I was on started bucking, and they were like, all right, you're in. Because I didn't fall off, I guess.
You listen to any tunes out on the trail, or was it all in birds?
I didn't, but I did have a bunch on my mind. Desert Americas. Been through the desert on a horse tonight. Also, do you guys remember that old song, My Rifle, My Pony, and Me? Man, that would not leave my head. I don't know why. And I do think that helped a lot with the attitude.
Do you have a horse here now?
I don't. I leased a horse from Pam Gordon, Sonny. I actually should have put a photo of him up here. Great teacher, super spicy. Sunny was actually probably spicier than any of those horses. So he taught me about it. My next race, I don't know why I did this.
Couldn't get enough.
Yesterday, I signed up for a 100-mile endurance race in Oregon in May.
Where in Oregon?
Just south of Bend. I'm not exactly sure where, but I think like an hour south of Bend, somewhere in there.
Who are you gonna ride?
So before I did the Gaucho Derby, there's a gal who did the Pioneer Gaucho Derby, and she lives in Bend, and she teaches Gaucho Derby boot camps. So last October, I went for a few days. Yeah, to her, and we were riding her horses, and she actually rents those horses out to also do endurance riding. And yeah, back in the saddle.
At any point did you find it meditative, or did you find had any major epiphanies along the way, or you were like, oh, I see so clear?
No. I did meditative, yes. I mean, I was just like, I had no idea. I thought that I would hit more walls than I did, and it was just like, it was like being on drugs without the drugs. I was just like so happy and having a good time. Yeah. So it is. I should have brought some for you guys. They actually don't have a name. Oh. I got them in the back alley. No. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. I have no idea what time it is. I think I talked way more than I was expecting. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. If you want any soft pills, come to me.
Oh, it doesn't.